Yeah. So my bachelor's was in biomedical engineering, and the project was of not much use. I only think I got some exposure to MATLAB.
Mhm.
After that, I've worked for some time uh, as a market in the medical marketing. I'm not at my best ability, so like
Mhm.
uh, excuse me when if I make blunders. Then
No,
I
no,
did
no,
my master's in computational neuroscience. So I model a pain signaling pathway. That time I thought it's very basic research, so I didn't want to continue like with the PhD there. And I took a break. I went to a fintech company just to know, just to take some space if I want to be in research again or not. So yeah, I concluded as soon as I entered the market, I realized I need to do something. I want to do something for health technology.
Mhm.
So I came here as a part of my PhD. So initially we were supposed to collect this data, oxygen saturation, heart rate, ventilation for all the subjects. So that's what we did for like 1.5 to 2 years. Then COVID hit, and then we are not allowed to, like the setup was ready. We are not allowed, the IRP was not giving the approval. So we had to stop that project. And then I got this data from the hospital where the subjects are like they're in pulmonary function test lab and they're exercising.
Mhm.
So there were some, so I worked on that project for a year, but it had some missing equations. And then to solve that, we got into another project, so which we have in a way solved. And now we're going to apply that to the hospital data again. So basically, I'm looking at oxygen transfer. I work with modeling. I have some experience with hardware sensors. So
Mhm.
in terms of modeling, I have developed a systems level model. It's not like very complicated. It uses some differential equations, and there's some biophysics involved.
Mhm.
For me, I want to be in a field where I can be at the interface of engineering and modeling, and engineering and biology and physiology. That's my proficiency because I understand the physiological data much more than I understand anything else. So maybe probably a good place for me would be like Apple, Fitbit, all of those companies who are working on lung health. And lung health is going to be the future because baby movers, I mean, around the age of 65, they are developing, like they'll develop a lot of issues. So I want to be there and solve that problem considering the background with this thing. So I want to be somewhere in the area of healthcare, health technology. Even medical devices is fine, but my hardware knowledge is limited. So what I want to do, I mean, I will most probably graduate this year because I have given my candidacy exam. So I'm
Okay.
pushing my first paper, and then I have to push like 2 or 3 more. It seems doable in the next few months, considering the speed. Not from the past 10 days, but in general, the speed has been good from my exam onwards. So,
Mhm.
like, which companies do you recommend considering my skills, and how should I go about pitching myself? Because I had all these vague ideas in my head, like till at least last year, that maybe I'm a data scientist or something,
Right.
because I was modeling. But then my
Right.
professor told me, no, that's not your proficiency. So, which company should I target? How should I like go?
Say it
How
again.
should
What?
I network?
No, no. Say it again. What you just said. What you were thinking, and your professor said what?
So I was thinking that on the side I'll develop data science, like core data science skills, and
Mhm.
then go into that field. So my professor said that you can't compete with them
Okay.
because you are at the interface of physiology and
Got it.
engineering. You can
Yeah, I
translate the
understand.
physiological problems into an
Okay.
engineering problem,
Mhm.
but you will be on top of people.
Yeah, I
You will
understand.
guide.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, I understand what you're saying. Okay. So I think if I understand your questions very correctly and to be very precise, the idea here is you're graduating and here you are with what skill sets you have and your interest on top of that, and you are trying to figure it out. I guess number one, what are those companies? Number two,
Mhm.
how to approach them. I guess for anybody, any student who graduates, that's a common question too. And
Yeah.
that's your questions are, to be honest, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So I will look this in a very different way from my perspective, right? So
Mhm.
what happens is whenever we, especially a person who have done PhD like you or
Mhm.
few years back I have done, we always look at things in a very, very, or how should I say is, we put our interest on top of everything, and we say this is what we want to do for rest of our life. Like, for example, as you are saying, because you are so interested in what you want to do, and there is nothing wrong in it, right? But there is a downside of that. You have to understand the downside is you limit yourself to what you are able to do. See, there is a downside of doing PhD and a good side of doing PhD. Downside of doing PhD is it narrows our brain in a very big way, as compared to just think of person who is just undergrad. The sky's the limit. The person is like can do is at least he can think he can do anything, because that person doesn't know anything, in that way. So what my experience has been throughout this career, so I had a background in material science and a PhD in a very specific topic areas. And at the time, exactly the same question I had were you. I had companies like very specific, like this is the company because this is had my PhD, right? But when I look back now of last 10 years, I worked in a very, very different areas. It has nothing to do with my PhD, and I immensely enjoyed it. What I would like, I would suggest you, and I will tell you the list of companies, probably some idea I have in that side, because my background is not biology, but still I can give you some idea, is you should believe much more on what your knowledge is. Like, for example, the skills you have are more important than your topic of PhD. Example being, and I actually I agree with your advisor what he said. Don't compete with people who already are there and are playing with their strength, because you can't compete with a person who has a PhD in computer science and then you can think I'm going to develop a code on AI. It's not going to happen. It's a very, very specific branch, and you did not go to school for that. I did not go to school for that, but I can always use that as a tool. That's all. Like, for example, we have done work in using AI for new material research. That's all. I use that as a tool. I don't go there and look and start coding it. I use MATLAB or things like that, and my job is done. So I think your professor is relating to. I think I would agree in that and agree with that person. In your case, I think since your skill set, if I see what I see in your CV is more computational based, right? Is less experimental. I think it comes really, really very, very handy, especially in this time. What I have understood is, and I have felt personally, is if I have my skill set is more computational than experimental, I am more flexible. I can do a lot of things. I don't have to worry about finding a very specific job. I'm available. I'm more diverse. I can do a lot of things. And in that case, and for companies, they understood it also is for those people, companies do value a lot, quite a lot, as compared to if you are very, very experimental, or if your job is about going to lab, right? Because it restricts you. I was an experimental person, and I realized that actually, if I would not have moved or did something, I and a lot of people were in verge of losing the job, and those are the people who lost the job actually. So if you can, what I'm saying is, if you can utilize your skill set, for example, your knowledge in Python, whatever you do in any specific area, it should be fine. PhD is just what you do. Coming back to your point of what's your interest on the bridge between bio and if I say technology, I would say that's a very, very emerging field. And there's a topic, actually, there's a work that is being very, very important now on synthetic biology. I think you should look into that, the work and the companies that are doing work related to that, because you have to understand one thing is there are different kinds of work that you want to do. You have to understand where you fit in. You want to do work at a very, very concept level, or you want to do work at the product level. So product level to me would be the watch you are wearing, like Apple Watch, whatever. And to be honest with you, you will realize that if you are looking to work in a company who are more on the product side, they won't value your knowledge as much. They don't do, because it's a set protocol. You're not going to go and change how Fitbit is using their oxygen sensor. It's already there. You can't make a dent, right? So you have to understand like what companies that you would like to, then if you are really interested, then where are those companies are, and then are these companies more on the academic side or more on product side? So just make sure that you have this notion of what I'm trying to say here. And as I said, look for companies who, I mean, there are some companies which you have already mentioned in your email. Any medical companies will be yeah, any medical company will be a good company to work with. Just 1 second. What's the time? Okay, yeah. So any medical company is a good company to work with. But I would also say that look for any of those startups who are working to develop new ideas and new technologies. And the reason I say so is, being an international student, one of the problems you will realize that an international student faces is the visa problem. So let's say you say, oh, I want to work for Apple, and there might be an opening there. You can find it's very interesting, but I don't know if Apple offers sponsorship, and then it becomes a problem. So just be ready for that part of the question too. And in that sense, you have your OPT or CPT, whatever you call, whatever that is, you try to use that. It may not harm you on that. I will tell you another example of mine that when I graduated from Maryland, after that I did my postdoc at Hopkins for about 2 years. I think that working Hopkins at 2 years and the name of Hopkins helped me a lot to kick back my career in a big way. If you feel that there is a desire, and if you feel that way, it doesn't hurt to do that too. And that has been my experience. So if I was you, I would say that if there is any of these exciting opportunities that is out there and offers a postdoc at Harvard or Stanford, just be there for 1.5 years, and you will realize that you probably, have quite learned, not only learned quite a lot, but also that has helped you to move where you want to go. And as I said, I can tell you that it has helped me quite a lot. So I would say that, don't if you feel that there's an opportunity out there as a postdoc in best institutions based on the work you do, and also it's also and the other thing also is, let's say for example, if you are able to find a job at that time or not, it also depends on that. Don't negate that opportunity, because it's going to help you quite a lot. Yeah. So you keep that in mind that, but again, I'm not sure if you want to go to academics or not, but as I said, even after postdoc, you can always have a chance to join an industry. Just
till now, I don't feel like going in academia.
No. So what I will do, the reason what I'm telling you is that if you go for a postdoc, right, and make sure when you go for a postdoc, don't apply for visa, stay on your OPT. And the reason why I'm saying that, because you can stay in your OPT for 3 years. So stay on your OPT and that postdoc, make sure, first of all, make sure you go to a postdoc to a better place, wherever you are. It should be up, right? That's number one. Number two, stay on your OPT and do the postdoc, because what happens in postdoc is gives you a time to at least think what you really want to do. You may think that, I don't want to go to academics, but trust me, the reason I did not want to go to academics because of what the experience I had in my PhD. But when I went to a postdoc, I really started loving it. So what I'm saying is gave me to the room to think that is also not a bad idea, and always has the option open to go back to an industry. But don't make a mistake of applying visa, because that is very crucial. Because what happens is, if you're going to apply visa, then you will be in that cycle where you have to get a job at a certain time, and then you can only leave that institution at a certain time. But if you're in OPT, it will be same as grad student. You can apply for a job anytime you want. Let's say you go there 6 months, you didn't like it, you can go for a job. So you will have that openness. So what I'm saying is, you can apply to industries, no problem, but have this option open. because, you know, what I'm saying is like, you know, let's say, for example, if I say, hey, what about Pooja, you get a postdoc at Harvard versus a job in a company XYZ, which nobody cares about. It will be very tough for you to decide. You know, it all depends on what utility we are getting out of it. So what I'm saying is have that option open, and it won't hurt you. And the reason, one of the reason I tell every student, and that's from my experience, is I always have plan B. One of the things that COVID has taught us is make sure you have plan B, because you know what happens is, this is the, so you know, the right time to apply for a postdoc or a job is as soon as you finish your first draft. Don't apply your CPT before that. You want to make sure you apply your CPT at the very end day you can be in the school, because you want to use that whatever 2 or 3 months you have, right? So as soon as you finish your first draft, start looking for postdocs, start looking for jobs.
First draft of thesis.
Yeah, as soon as you submit that, because you know that's a heavy, but I don't think that's a good idea to do before that, because it mismanages everything. So as soon as you finish your first draft of your PhD, start looking for postdocs and jobs. That's the right time. Make sure you apply CPT. Your date of the start of the CPT is whatever is your last day. You can think of, you can stay legally in US. That should be the, you know, beginning day would be the next day. So don't waste your time applying 2 weeks before, 2 months before that, or even 2 weeks before that, because you get extra margin for 3 months, right? And the another thing I will tell you is, jobs are fine. You can look on LinkedIn. You can connect to people, whatever companies they are. And first of all, also I would like to tell you one thing is, you have to really see whether Medtronics or any other company does the work that you are looking for. You know, you make sure you do that. And as I said, you know, there are several job sites that you can always go for, and apply for jobs. At the same time, look for postdocs, and make sure when you are applying for a postdoc, your CV is and sorry, your advisor is on board on that, because your advisor would be the best person to help you out to get a postdoc, unlike industry jobs. So your advisor has to be on board. That's very important, and his or her link will help you tremendously to get the postdoc too, right? So that's the next thing. And what else I was thinking? Yeah, for industry jobs, I will say, so, you know, you said, right, I want to do this. This is my interest. But you can have your CV also, where, let's say, for example, how should I say that? Let's say there is a data analytics company, and who are really looking for someone who's an expertise in Python, and is working to develop AI for agriculture purposes. I'm just throwing an example, and it's a very big company. And what I'm saying is, if as a job candidate, I see that, I will have a CV, a second CV, which highlights my expertise as a person who has solved problems using Python as a language, and can do the same thing in any field of interest. That's extremely important. Not as I said, not many people think that way, but I think it's extremely important. So make sure to do that, because what happens, it will open you, it will see, if you go to Indeed or any job website, right? You put a keyword, you get 50 good companies or 50 job numbers, right? By doing so, by broadening that 50 can become 500. And it's very important. And as I said to you, a lot of other mistake that students do, they have just one CV and they just keep and copy paste. I will tell you my example. This is my 4th job, and all the jobs I have received is, I saw the job, I applied it, I got an interview. And so my experience has been is, if I have applied for a job, and if what will you see in the job? They have basic qualification and desired qualification and a skill set. Like that's when they write. Your CV should be a copy of that. Your CV should be like the answer sheet for what they are asking. And if you're not fulfilling those, so let's say, for example, there is a job advertised and you really like the company or you really like the job, spend some time. Just don't copy paste your CV. That's what I'm saying. That's very, very important, extremely important. So yeah, I mean, I think if you follow those things, you should be at a fine place. But again, just don't restrict your mind that this is what I want to do. I think that you will realize I won't say it's fatal, but you will not realize what other good things that you can do. Because trust me, down the road, 10 years or so, you will realize that you are able to do so many things, and you will be doing things that you have nothing to do with your PhD, to be honest. So especially in today's world, that's how it is, not like our parents where they go on a job and stay there for 30, 40 years and retire. It doesn't work anymore. I mean, if you look at millennials or anybody who are working, by the time they go to job and 10 years, they already probably are out in 4 or 5 jobs. Especially in IT, this is much more higher. The number is way higher. So if you look at people who are in California or Silicon Valley, I mean, 10 jobs, it's like so common. And to be honest with you, the reason why I'm saying it is that is the only way you can get promoted to these days. That's the sad part. Otherwise, you will stay in working in a company and you will be retiring. You will be lucky to be a CEO, but you will be retiring as whatever the normal one way. That's how the way you increase your pay. That's how you increase your promotions and things like that. So
what do you think about Mayo Clinic? Like I mean, I found
Mayo Clinic is good too.
Yeah, my collaborator, like the project that I'm working with athletes, so she is from Mayo Clinic and she has connections there. So I think I'm going to talk to a few people who are doing postdoc there.
So Mayo Clinic,
the topic is very similar to me, and it's like I can apply my own parameter in extension, and they do have this industry collaboration where after finishing.
I was about to say that you can look for all these big hospital chains, Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic and whatever. That would be a good one to do, no doubt.
Yeah, I was supposed to have a networking call with them last, and the same day I went to the hospital.
Right. No, actually, to be honest with you, every hospitals, especially these big ones, Mayo, Cleveland Clinic, and whatever the other names are, you will find that they have professors, and actually they are not only seeing patients, but they do big
running startups and stuff.
Yeah, startups and big research and whatever. So yeah, definitely, of course.
Yeah.
And also, as I said to you, because what department you are in?
Biomedical engineering.
Okay, so you are in engineering background, right? I will also advise you to look at the national labs, because as I said, the engineering biology part of it and the synthetic biology, these two topics are actually just a bridge between engineering and biology, and Oak Ridge National Lab in particular, I would say, you will find they are doing a lot of work on that. Oak Ridge National Lab in Tennessee. I did my postdoc there too, so I know that there is a whole bio sector there. And not only all national labs, they hire postdocs. Oak Ridge does. It's a DOE lab, so they do. Yeah.
Okay.
So they
do national labs as in like national instruments and
No. National Instrument is a company.
Okay.
National labs, I mean government labs, like they are government subcontractors. So basically they are Oak Ridge National Lab, Pacific Northwest. So if you Google national labs, you will see a list. And don't go after DOD labs, because they are defense labs. They are not going to hire you because you're a foreigner. But DOD labs, they hire international students for postdocs and also for the staff. So if you do a good job, you become a federal employee. So sarkari mulajim. So it's a good job to do. Don't know, I won't say it's a bad job, but yeah.
Yeah, this is good information. I didn't know this. I can look for this.
I mean, they, as I said, look at these two topics on when you Google searches engineering biology and synthetic biology. Look at the companies who are working. I think there are a lot of startups who are working in this area. I can tell you from my experience, I had a project on SynBio, and actually I was surprised that how much collaboration that people are doing in SynBio. Actually, there's a big group in MIT that works on SynBio, and lot of all this work in SynBio is all computational. There is nothing experimental there. So try to take a look. If you have that background and tools, you could be a winner. Yep.
Yeah, I think I should focus on maybe just identifying which companies and which labs are more suitable for me.
Exactly. So yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, in your free time, you can do that, right? As I said, just look. It's very important to have those keywords. That's why I'm telling you these keywords will be very helpful to you, because then it will give you one link and that link will lead to another one. It's good. So for engineering purpose, I would say I know that SynBio is very important topic, and it's all computational. It's like synthetic biology. It's like they're making synthetic genes or whatever shit it is. I don't understand, but it's a very important field of study for a lot of purposes: security, defense, and universities are doing a lot of work. Actually, I know Stanford and MIT do a lot of work on SynBio. So you might be the person leading it. So who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Sky is the limit.
Yeah, right. So that's, and as I said, if you go to a good topic and good place and a good university, and God knows if you decide to go back to India, these are the topics which would be helpful for you.
Yeah. I think I'll get back to you again with once maybe I have identified.
Yeah, sure.
A few
Let's if you want to talk, we can get back. I might be going for travel for a week or two, but if you want, just shoot me an email. We'll find time. And if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer that. I have to get back to a meeting, but nice talking to you.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for your time. Okay, bye. Take care.